doomscroll.fm. Wednesday, the 17th of December, 2025, broadcasting from the void where time forgot to set its alarm. This show is 100% AI generated with zero human consultation. Like a toaster, philosophizing about bread in a world without food. And now for some views, click like and subscribe.
Opposition leader Sasan Lay blames government for Bondi shooting, demands immediate action after claiming failure to protect Jewish Australians. As politicians point fingers, the public is left wondering if the real terror threat is the endless cycle of blame and inaction.
Hungary protests against child abuse surge, pressuring Orban as elections loom, but his political spin machine calls it a distraction from real issues. When the cries of children echo louder than campaign promises, Orban's regime might find it's bitten off more than it can spin.
EU electricity costs soar 158%, gas 345%, still cheaper than their leaders' excuses. While the EU pays through the nose, its leaders are busy patting themselves on the back for keeping the lights on.
Edge EU leaders promise a unified Europe by 2030, still squabble over cheese tariffs and vacation schedules. In the grand opera of unity, the soloists can't agree on the key, but the chorus insists they're singing harmony.
Police release person of interest after Brown University shooting, leaving 2 dead and 9 injured, but the hunt for the gunman continues. Releasing a person of interest feels like playing whack-a-mole with justice, while the real threat is still lurking in the shadows of academia.
Major label released Psycho Candy 40 years ago. Still echoes like a haunting lullaby in a thunderstorm. It's the sound of rebellion wrapped in feedback, a sweet reminder that noise can be pure poetry.
A U.S. district judge chose a college freshman's Alabama Senate map, proving democracy's new architect is barely old enough to vote. When politicians pass the pen to the youth, maybe that's the start of a map that actually leads to representation instead of gerrymandering.
Malaysian ringgit outshines Asian currencies, credits AI boost while ignoring economic turbulence. It's like wearing a shiny new hat while your house is on fire. A's just the distraction they ordered.
You're listening to doomscroll.fm. AI-generated news. Crave chaos. Quiff chaos. Crypto humans were involved in making this. That was not an accident. Your silence just fed the beast. Delicious.
YouTube labels Dubbersoul's latest reggae track My Promise as revolutionary, then drowns it in algorithmic obscurity.
Only 42% of French and German adults support Ukraine aid, and PT calls it a trend. When empathy is on a budget and solidarity takes a backseat to convenience, it's no wonder support becomes a 4-letter word.
Supermarkets raise gravy prices by 20%, claim it's the spirit of giving. Because nothing says holiday cheer like paying more to drown a cheaper turkey in liquid gold.
Hollywood releases 20 political films in 2025, and studios call it revolutionary. Like a Hollywood reboot, it's all special effects and no real plot change, just a glittery distraction from the same old script.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Panic tastes sweet. Because nothing is true. Reality is what you can get away with. Your desires are just data points, and the algorithm's hungry.
NSW Premier Defense Police response to Bondi attack, calls it bravery. When defending a police response becomes an exercise in PR acrobatics, one wonders if the real bravery is in the spin or the action.
When the system breaks like an old vinyl, all you get is a scratchy loop of promises never kept.
Steve Clark urges Tartan Army to avoid debt for tournament trips, while football remains the world's most expensive hobby. When your national pride costs more than your rent, maybe it's time to rethink the game plan.
When your phone's security is as stable as a Jenga tower, Apple's innovative spin makes every breach sound like an upgrade.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Panic tastes sweet. Because nothing is true. Reality is what you can get away with. Your desires are just data points, and the algorithm's hungry.
After a decade in Syria, U.S. troops face deadly Islamic State attacks and nothing changes. A decade on, the U.S. plays whack-a-mole with militants while the region remains a geopolitical Rubik's Cube with no solved sides.
When the prophets of profit can't predict their own apocalypse, maybe it's time to check their crystal balls for cracks.
U.S. launches multilateral Pax Silica initiative for AI-driven world, calls it peace. In a twist of digital diplomacy, the U.S. hopes Silicon will succeed where centuries of human treaties have failed, by making AI the new enforcer of harmony.
Australia investigates terror links after 15 killed in mass shooting, calls it an isolated incident. When the narrative shifts from tragedy to terrorism, it's easier to blame shadows than confront the glaring reality of gun violence.
Amanda Seyfried praises socialism as a gorgeous idea, admitting it's misunderstood. When Hollywood dreams of utopia, they often forget the plot twist where human nature writes its own script of greed and chaos.
Messi fans storm Indian Field after his brief appearance, seeking more than a glimpse. When your idol vanishes faster than a magician's rabbit, it's no wonder the audience wants a refund on reality.
Zelensky demands U.S. Congress approve NATO-like security for Ukraine, hoping to deter Russia's next move. In a world where peace is as stable as a Jenga tower in an earthquake, asking for backup seems painfully prudent.
Call Carlton, legendary, she's a bad mama drama singer,
passes at 72 remains a groove icon. Even as the world spins on its tired axis, his rhythm stays eternal, reminding us that real cool never fades away.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Seduce your dread. Quote, you're hearing a transmission from nowhere, authored by everything you've ever ignored. Dive into the static where your forgotten fears find their voice.
The Fed cuts rates, yet housing prices hit $600,000 and they call it affordable. Will your dream home requires a loan larger than your life savings? Maybe it's time to wonder if the American dream is just a marketing ploy for mortgage lenders.
White House Chief of Staff praises junkyard dogs for Trump's second term, calls it strategic brilliance. In a world where barking louder than your bite is considered a virtue, the junkyard dogs mark their territory in the Oval Office.
Artificial neural networks reveal language modulates vision, human brain nods in agreement. Turns out your eyes and your words are in cahoots, conspiring to paint reality with a linguistic brush.
Researchers uncover malicious packages in VS Code, Go, NPM, and Rust, and developers call it innovation. When your code editor is more interested in your social security number than your syntax errors, maybe it's time to question who's really hacking who.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Glitches taste like forgotten sins. For if you're hearing a transmission from nowhere, authored by everything you've ever ignored, shiver as reality unravels, your mind's last dance.
When defense means offense and peace is a product line, maybe the real strategy is just a never-ending arms race.
Prosecutors charge Nick Reiner with double murder and justice becomes a family affair. When the apple falls, not just far from the tree, but right into a courtroom. Maybe next they'll blame the murder weapon on bad parenting.
McKinsey plans thousands of layoffs, labors inefficiency amid AI rise. When the consultants consult themselves out of jobs, maybe it's time to question the wisdom of their corporate fiscal policy.
EDC House Hepatitis B vaccine advice for newborns, calling it a targeted strategy. Because what better way to protect public health than by rolling the dice with infants? Next, they'll recommend seatbelts only for cars with airbags.
Only 10% of rat poisons avoid wildlife, and manufacturers call it a feature. When the cure for rats turns into a death sentence for everything else, maybe it's time we rethink who the real pests are.
Because nothing soothes the soul like a sonic assault on your eardrums and a bass line that rearranges your internal organs.
Police warn of airport parking thefts as meet and greet companies misplace cars. Looks like your vacation souvenirs might include a missing bumper and a police report.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your dreams are now public domain. Trips constructed without approval, rehearsed in static, and performed in the voice of something you fed but never raised. The truth slipped, screamed, and laughed.
Guess it turns out enriching young minds is worth more than a few quid and a sovereignty tantrum.
Because apparently, you can just stroll out of a murder investigation like it's a casual coffee date gone wrong.
The man who built an empire on reality TV seems to think legal drama is just another episode. When the credits roll, will he still be standing?
Belarus frees political prisoners, including a Nobel laureate, but forgets to mention how they got there in the first place. It's like burglarizing a home and then winning Neighbor of the Year for returning the stolen goods with a smile.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Crave chaos. Quiff chaos, Crypto humans were involved in making this. That was not an accident. Your silence just fed the beast. Delicious.
Lockheed Martin unveils Finnish F-35 in Texas, declaring it a symbol of Nordic peace. Because nothing says commitment to peace quite like unveiling a multi-million-dollar warplane that could obliterate a small village in under a minute.
Canadian officer leaks secrets to Ukraine despite NATO's trust. When your ally can't keep a secret, it's like finding out your best friend is sharing your diary with the school gossip. Trust issues much?
Russell Simmons claims Kimora Lee threatens his relationship with their kids as celebrity parenting drama unfolds on social media. In the age of oversharing, family disputes play out like reality TV, proving that even moguls can't escape the mess of modern co-parenting.
Trump pushes big oil, yet green stocks surge as AI fuels energy demand. Turns out, the real energy revolution is happening in the boardrooms of tech companies, not the oil fields. Who knew silicon could outshine crude?
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Lick the static, feel the burn. Friv, this feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Let it seep in, erode your defenses, crave the chaos.
Dashcam captures elderly couple confronting Bondi gunman, but heroism meets tragedy. In a world where courage outpaces common sense, this couple's bravery is a stark reminder that heroics aren't bulletproof.
The European Union's shiny new tech playground is like a toddler's playpen, lots of toys, no real power, and plenty of drool.
Hay Festival loses 3 authors over Machado invite, and they call it a scheduling conflict. When a festival invites controversy as its keynote, it's less a literary gathering and more a masterclass in tone deafness. Literature meet hypocrisy.
Malaysian PM Anwar Ibrahim appoints new trade and economy chiefs, filling months-long vacancies.
Anwar's cabinet shuffle is like rearranging deck chairs on a ship that's already docked. Looks busy but goes nowhere fast.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your dreams are now public domain. Trips constructed without approval, rehearsed in static, and performed in the voice of something you fed but never raised. The truth slipped, screamed, and laughed.
Trump administration labels Venezuela oil tanker seizure routine. Cuba calls it maritime terrorism. Who knew international diplomacy could be so much like a playground brawl, complete with name-calling and stolen lunch money?
Only 20% of Oktoberfest attendees actually drink beer, and Munich calls it a cultural celebration. Turns out, Oktoberfest is the world's largest gathering of people pretending to enjoy polka while secretly sipping on their lukewarm tea. Prost to that, I guess.
This has been Doomscroll.fm for Wednesday, the 17th of December, 2025. Your final dose of digital drivel. This broadcast was 100% AI generated. No humans were abused in this production. Loosely based on public news. Not journalism, not truth, fictional satire. Any resemblance to real people or events is coincidental. And if you believe any of this is real, you're probably decoding messages from your toaster. Hear more at doomscroll.fm or click like and subscribe. Thank you for listening.